All right. Very funny, guys. All right. Welcome to On The Sideline. I'm your host, Jeff Holden. We're here today with Big O.
God bless you.
Coach Evan Hearn, and our special guest for this episode, Jacksboro head football coach and athletic director, Mr. Casey Hubble. Appreciate you coming in, Coach.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, here we go.
Turn that up a little bit.
Yeah, there we go.
There was a lot of that this past season for Jacksboro.
Yeah, so as you know, we're starting a new little mini series that we're calling 940 On The Sideline Football Preview.
Right.
You coaches have been great by coming in and saving, we just don't have the means to get out to everybody's sideline and do that. So thank you for that. And as you also know, football is king in the state of Texas, and it'll be here before we know it. So we figured this is a perfect time. Coach Evan Hearn actually came up kind of like with an idea of this, and so we all agreed to it, and now here we are. So we appreciate you coming in, and we'll go ahead and start with, we're just going to ask you some questions. And
Rapid fire.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
We'll bring it in. Go ahead, Coach Hearn.
All right, Coach Hubble. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I grew up in Jacksboro. I graduated from there in '93. Knew I wanted to coach since I was in junior high, and went off to Tarleton and met my wife. Got married. Actually started my career in Jacksboro as a junior high coach in 1998, and seventh grade went undefeated. I don't know if y'all heard about that.
There you go.
Okay.
It's not in this sheet.
No, I didn't put that in the bio, but had a coach tell me, "Good job, Hubble. You'll never do it again."
I almost did last year.
Still haven't, but started my coaching career there. Had several stops. That summer, a guy that I'd student taught for at Dublin called me, offered me a linebackers high school varsity job and head track coach. So I left Jacksboro and took off to Dublin for 2 years, and then he got a job in the Houston area at a place called New Caney, and went down there for 4 years. And that place has blown up since I left. But after that, I got on at Denton Geyer in 2005, building a new school, and started that process there from possibly a really tough situation where we only had a freshman class, and went 1-19 the first 2 years of varsity football, and then had about a 6-year run there where we were in the semifinals or the state championship game every year for except for one, I guess, in that 6-year run. Parlayed that into my first head coaching job in Breckenridge. I went there for 6 years. Wouldn't trade that time for anything. Had some really good teams. Won some playoff games. Never had a breakout year where we won a ton of games, but had a third round appearance and a couple of second round appearances. Left there and went to Canton for 2 years, and back in East Texas, and great place. Thought I'd stay there for a good while, and then. When this Jacksboro job was about to come open, Coach Rogers called me. We had kept in touch. He knew I was from there and coached against him, Breckenridge and Jacksboro, and just told me, how great it was and that we had some kids coming, and looked into it and didn't think I was going to. I'd about tired of moving around, and really liked it there in Canton, but the more I looked at it, more I visited with Brad Burnett, the superintendent. When I was in high school, he was actually student teaching there as an ag teacher.
Oh, wow.
And had always kept in touch. And just more I looked at it, couldn't pass it up. And blessed to be there. I've got 2 boys that are going to be seniors this year, Garrett and Jackson. One of them plays football for us and plays slot receiver and corner. The other one films for us and runs our drone and throws a seated shot put in track. So that's a little bit about me.
Wow, very
Before
cool.
we go
Very
any
cool.
further, what your son do with the seated shot put, I love it. I got to see him do that at district track meet, and I was like, man, dude, it takes, first off, it just takes commitment and determination and do it. But I just think the uniqueness, if nobody's ever seen you do that, it's not an easy task. and he does a great job with it. And I was like, my wife was like, "You stared hard." I was like, "Cause it's like it was amazing to see him do that. Like I think not only just see him do it, but just to like everybody help to get it set up. Yeah. It's like building a house, bro. It's like the coolest thing. And then I think he went to state, right?
He's been to state every year. In his first year, he got third at state, and then the last 2 years he's got second. I thought he was going to win it this year. He got beat out by a half inch.
Okay.
So
so next year is his year.
Got one more.
He was up there lifting at 7 o'clock this morning. So
yes, sir.
He's committed.
So you guys had a tremendous season last year. 13 wins. Tell us about you guys' season last season.
Yeah, we thought we had a chance to be really good. Installing our packages and our scheme the first year. We had a pretty good year the first year. I think it was 8-4. Got beat by Gunner in the second round. If you didn't win district, if you were that second place team, that's what you were looking at. So we wanted to make sure that we won the district.
Yes.
Because then you get Gunner in the fourth round, and everything kind of worked. Our kids worked really hard. The juniors, seniors that were there when I got there, and sophomores all bought into what we were doing, and it just worked. Played some good football, played some bad football at times, but we're able to win. We're able to weather the injury bug and stay pretty healthy. We had some times where we were short some kids, but other kids stepped up and just were able to hit the playoffs, full stride. And our offense was clicking, defense was doing well, and offensively, we just had some weapons that made you defend the whole field. We had two really good receivers. Running back, we had another running back that's really good that, didn't get the ball a whole lot. Some slot receivers that were really good when you tried to take away our outside receivers. And then, our running back rushed for 1,700 yards. And then
that helps a little.
And then, you had Lando back there at quarterback who we could really do just about anything we wanted to do as far as any scheme. He's really smart and very accurate with the football, and arm strength was never a question. We could just put a lot of stress on people, and we're able to make a run. Got in the playoffs, and we're able to keep winning, and and then ran into a buzzsaw there with Gunner in the fourth round, and we fired our bullet. Everybody wants to talk about how we gave them a really good game, and that, I guess that's good, but we wanted to win, and that's been our focus ever since is, let's not just get there. Let's try to kick the door down.
So my question is for you. We're talking about players that one of the ones that I know that you lost is Lando Belcher. How hard is it to replace I'll call him a juggernaut in Lando? He's just a good leader, great leadership skills. The willingness to win, just overall command, seemed like he had command of that offense. How hard will it be to replace him next year?
Yeah, we've got some competition going for our quarterback spot. What they turn into is up to them. But as far as thinking you're going to replace a guy that, has thrown for, 9,000 yards in his career, it's just not going to, you're probably not going to do it. So, but, we like our quarterbacks we got coming. It's more about the program growing and building to where it's, and it wasn't just one guy this year. We had a really good team with a lot of good players, but the team has to absorb the loss, and multiple people have to grab that slack, and and then hopefully your younger guys develop and grow throughout the season. And Lando, as good as he was this year, he struggled at times last year, and, going down to 7-on-7 this year. I remembered our first year making it down to state in 7-on-7, or actually we didn't make it, I don't think, the first year, and we struggled to, execute in that realm. But the more he was in the system, just the better he got. So we expect our young guys to do the same thing.
So
for sure.
Talking about that, you return 3 All-State players, Cannon, Luke, and Wade. Cannon is receiving a lot of publicity. Could you talk more about those three guys there?
Yeah, he's getting a lot of attention. The college coaches are pretty heavy on him right now. He had a couple of some big time offers. Army came in, very interesting to listen to how those guys operate up there. From an elite, an elite. Everything about what they do is really amazing.
Yes, sir.
And then, he went out to Colorado State the other day and visited it and fell in love with it and committed to those guys. They're looking at him at linebacker. He plays safety for us. He could play defensive end for us. He could play linebacker. Plays receiver on offense. Could play tight end. He could play any position on the field probably. But since he committed to Colorado State, he's getting, University of Houston came in with an offer. Texas State called the other day. They offered him, and some people like Tech and TCU have actually reached out and are inquiring about him now. And
as a wide receiver, or
no,
still as a
probably going to
linebacker?
be as a linebacker is what most of them are looking at him as. And,
Okay.
and he plays safety for us, and steps down and did a really, really good job in the run fits and all of that. Luke Sams, he rushed for 1,700 yards, catches the ball well out of the backfield. Really strong kid, squats nearly 500 pounds. He's very thick, very good running back for us, and does everything it takes to play that position well. We're expecting big things out of him as well, and where he ends up the year after, we'll have to see. But there's some excitement there around him as well. And then Wade Treadway plays offensive guard for us, and he just really developed into that type of offensive lineman that you want. That's kind of nasty and really likes to move people around, and we chart pancakes and all that, and that's a big deal to us. And he really embraced what you want your offensive line to be about, which is setting that line of scrimmage and controlling it.
Yeah, if you guys get to see Wade, I met him through the shot put and stuff too. He's a heck of a discus and shot put thrower as well. But he is a nasty looking football player. If you look at him, you can tell he's nasty in the trenches, which is what you need to play in the trenches. But I just like the swag he has. It's unique. It's like country, like varsity blues. He has like a varsity blues type swag to him, and it's just, I'm like, man, you probably look at people and they just get intimidated. Like, it's like he true broomstraws. Like, he's like one of those old school hard knocks football players, and I know he's a coach's dream. So shout out to Wade, because he's a kid that I admire for sure.
At Orthopedics Express, our primary focus is delivering exceptional care to patients with orthopedic injuries, such as sprains, strains, broken bones, and joint pain. You'll receive the expert care you need when you need it most. Simply walk in or schedule an appointment through MyChart. Located inside the Center for Advanced Orthopedics, Orthopedics Express is your fast track to orthopedic care.
Yes, sir.
So we kind of touched on it with Lando Belcher. Talk about your defense and offensive starters returning this upcoming season.
Yeah, so we lost a lot of our offense. That senior class, there were only 9 of them, but there were a lot of skill kids on that offense, and most of those guys made their home on the offense. But we had Kaleem at receiver and corner, who did a great job for us. Kaleem's an outstanding football player. He's going to Trinity to continue to play football, and had a couple of offers, but really, really good football player. Jackson McComas played H-back for us. He had been an offensive lineman, even though that's probably not what he was. He was such a good player and such good effort and ability that's where he had been. But we moved him to H-back, and he did a great job. Jet Davenport played offensive tackle for us. He played in the Oil Bowl the other day and did a great job. Him and Jackson and Lando and Kaleem all played in that and did a really good job. Casey Swan played at receiver, had some huge catches throughout the year. And Tyler Mitchell Pecos Wilbur, at center. We just had a really good group of football players that we're going to miss.
I bet.
Who do you have that you lost a lot of seniors, but of course you had some guys that were young that's going to still be here. Outside of the 3 All-State players that are returning, who are some other key factors of players that you have returning for this upcoming season, or up-and-coming players?
Right. Yeah, Marcus Oliveras is a really good player for us, plays defensive tackle, does an excellent job. Eric Pizzana played outside linebacker, Sam linebacker, which is really like a nickel for us, and did a great job. He'll play some more receiver this year. Glendon Rodriguez was a sophomore last year that played offensive line and, graded out really high every week. Unbelievably smart player, really explosive. He's probably only about 195 pounds, but, squats 500 pounds and benches 3, whatever. And, he's just a really, really good player that's unbelievably smart. Hunter Moffitt, outside linebacker for us. Garrett Hubble, my son, plays slot receiver and corner. Luis Balderrama, he was our other running back that he's a really good football player, and behind Luke didn't get a whole lot of touches last year, but also played linebacker for us and running back, and he's going to be back, and he'll get a lot more touches this year.
Lewis is a GoDaddy. I remember that kid from top of Texas. He's a GoDaddy. He's a coach's dream because he works hard. He's a workaholic. But your junior class, I'm familiar with a lot of those kids. That you have a strong group. The seniors, I don't know too much. I know them, but I don't know a lot about them. But your up and coming groups of kids that y'all do have in Jacksboro are a strong group. So I think that the future still looks bright for sure for you guys, and I think you guys have a great chance of repeating a lot of what you did last year for sure. That's
the plan. We also got a couple of quarterbacks that are competing for it, and really it's been about a 5-way competition.
Wow.
It's turned into Wyatt Gavitt, who played some linebacker for us as a sophomore this last year and played backup quarterback, and then Gannon McElroy also competing for that spot, and we're looking forward to seeing which one wins it, and whichever one doesn't win it is probably going to end up, being a linebacker for us. And, it's kind of the first time I've ever been in that situation where our quarterback room is full of linebackers.
Yeah, that means you got to tough those guys.
They tough.
So I'll ask you this, because you talked about it, and we're all fathers, and,
Yes,
as a head coach, that enjoyment of watching your kid grow from being a ball boy to, watching him play and all that stuff, and so you're getting to coach your son. How's that been for you?
It's been awesome, and it's been gut wrenching. As a sophomore, I think it was the second game of the year. Whenever I first got here that first year, Garrett broke his leg. We had a tib-fib fracture that was really, really, almost the Joe Theismann break, where I had to have a rod put in it, and it's about a 2-year injury really, and he played at about 80% this last year. So it's been tough, in that realm. But I just feel really blessed to get to spend as much time with my kids as I do in that arena, because I could only imagine what it's like as a parent to completely turn over your kid to a bunch of men and let them spend all the time and get to have all the fun. And, it gives a lot of perspective to what it is to be a parent when you step back and really look at it. But it's been great. We get to work out together, get to watch him grow. And we have a lot of coaches on our staff who have kids in the program, and I know they appreciate and enjoy it the same way.
So does coaching stop once you get home? Do y'all separate dad, coach, son, or is it still you should did this at practice? Or
for the most part, yeah.
Or is mom come in to be referee?
No, we definitely, if there's ever any tension, don't take that home. But that's who we are. That's what we do, and there's some of that goes on. But you got to start to figure out who they are as just like all kids. They're not just football players.
Yes.
They're people, and you got to buy into who they are as young men, I think the more you do that, the more you get out of them, on the grass.
Yeah, so I'll kind of switch it to a different lighter. I mean, not so much. I mean, still football, but what are some of the traditions or things that Jacksboro football or you as Coach Hubble has started or has done for since you've been in Jacksboro?
As far as what was different, I don't really know. We built a really nice weight room in there, and we really put a huge emphasis on training. We want to develop the best athletes we possibly can. I think our community was hungry for that. We constantly train kids. I don't want to just wait till we get a good group to be good. I want to make sure we're developing the skills and the athleticism needed to excel. We talk about feed the cats. That's kind of one of the slogans we picked up. And that's just really about how we train. We want to train at 100% effort, every rep we can. The football is a game that needs to be played at maximum effort every play. Rest, maximum effort. Rest, maximum effort. So we try to train that way. We want to train sprinting as fast as we can. We don't want to try to do a bunch of stuff where we get used to being at 80%. We want to try to go as hard and as fast as we possibly can. And, the kids have bought into it. We're not, you watch us at the district track meet, we're not lighting up times. We're not super fast on the track, but we feel like we can get our kids to play the game of football fast and, teach them how to accelerate, decelerate, change of direction. So, I would think from a training standpoint, that's where we really try to hang our hat and develop explosive players that can move and not just sprint. I'd love to have a bunch of fast guys. But I would want to you got to teach them how to move because football's it's not played in straight lines.
Yeah, so you touched a little bit on the importance of training and starting them young. How far is your reach into your program or your school? I mean, are you seeing or doing anything with sixth grade kids? Or what's your reach? Where do you start at for that program so that
Yeah, it starts with football camp every year. We really try to do a good job of getting into the elementary schools and getting kids out for football camp so we can start to build those relationships with them as early as possible. In sixth grade, we have pre-athletics. That's something that we've got going since we've been here. So we're teaching them how to squat, how to pick up weight, how to come to balance, how to move. And then, we try to make sure we still make it fun for them too. But we start sixth grade. My staff is, I don't have a junior high staff. We have coaches and they all coach everything. So the guy coaching quarterbacks or linebackers at the junior high is the same guy coaching them on Friday night. So we start to build those relationships early, and it's a lot of work for us, but that's how we do it.
That's how you do it.
And that he's talked about feeding the cats. That's, if you haven't heard of that, that's kind of what we use here at Memorial. But that is something that, like he said, football is played at, you want your players playing at max effort. And so if you haven't known about it, that you should get on it. So, Coach, tell us about your non-district schedule.
Yeah, so I thought I had it set pretty good, and then realignment day.
We'll talk about that here.
I lost a few and went to scrambling, but I think it's going to be a good schedule for us. Picked up Eagle Mountain, Saginaw first. Who knows what they're going to be. I think they've got a couple of really good, athletes over there. They won't have a senior class. I think they're going to start off in 4A, Division II or 1. I don't know what they are over there.
With Burke.
But it'll get bigger pretty quickly. But Coach Mullins was at Toller for the past several years. He'll do a great job. It'll be a good test for us. I think that's a good week one game, and we're going to play it over there, and they got a really nice facility. So
first one.
I hope it's hot. That's all I can say. Then we play Boyd. We played them the last 2 years, and I think they played for the past several years, even before I got there. But they struggled this year, but they gave us a really good game, and we're going to need to be a little better than we were last year, but in that game that early. But they do a good job over there. And then we go Peaster, Jim Ned, and Burke. So we got a pretty tough road there. Those last three, Peaster's getting better. They were really fast on the track. Every time we saw them at a meet, Jim Ned's going to be really good. They graduated some of those monster offensive linemen they had, but quarterback they got coming back, be the best athlete on the field probably. So, and then Burke Burnett, I couldn't find a week 5 game and really had to search and was looking and couldn't find one. And then finally, got in touch with coach over there and set it up. I don't know if Jacksboro's ever played Burke Burnett, but
not that I remember.
They will in 2024.
We're going to kick it off this year.
Might be something special.
So I think we got a good non-district schedule. I always want to play good people. I don't feel good about rolling into the games that are going to matter and not having had to fight. So I think it's going to be a good test for us.
The realtor we trust is Kim Rowart, given to others with love. Kim was raised in this community and has been selflessly serving for over 20 years. Kim encourages everyone to thrive in their purpose. Kim is part of the Homes for Heroes program, where she gives back a portion of her commissions from each closing to all military, firefighters, law enforcement, healthcare, and educators who use her services. Whether you're looking to buy or sell, Kim is the realtor for you. Go check out the website at homesforheroes.com. Since starting from scratch in 2020 by longtime resident of Clay County, Bob Belcher, Duck Creek Disposal has quickly become one of the most trusted waste disposal service and dumpster rental companies serving the 940 community and the surrounding areas. Local to the core, they take immense pride in being a part of the Wichita Falls community. Duck Creek Disposal's deep roots mean that every customer is treated like a neighbor. Their promise is to guarantee the best customer experience in the area, and they live by it. Whether you're a homeowner, contractor, or business, they've tailored their services to suit varied requirements. Bob's hands-on approach and belief in personal connection means that when you call Duck Creek Disposal, you're experiencing a standard of service that Bob himself envisioned. You talk to real people, not a machine. Go give Bob a call at 940-257-5660. Serving the 940 community for 12 years, Allegiance Electric and Controls is the trusted go-to for commercial and industrial electrical solutions. Contact them for reliable, tailored services to keep your operations running smoothly. Please call or visit their website at aecllc.com. For all your paving and concrete needs, we trust Freeman Paving, LLC. Located in Vernon, Texas, Freeman Paving is our recommended business for concrete, paving, and dirt work. They have over 20 years of experience working right here in our community. Next time you need any concrete work, give them a call, 940-552-9496. If you're looking to treat yourself to a delicious dessert, then Yogurt Journey is the place to be. Yogurt Journey offers 12 delicious flavors of frozen yogurt with over 60 topping options. If you want something warm instead, stop by to enjoy an amazing funnel cake, fried Oreos, fried brownies, or fried candy. Yogurt Journey also offers frozen yogurt rolls, waffle frozen yogurt rolls, and smoothies. If you need a cake for your next celebration, Yojo provides custom frozen yogurt cakes. Yogurt Journey is located on Kemp Street across from Barwise Middle School and is open daily from 12 to 9 p.m. For all your roofing related needs, we choose Assured Roofing and Construction. At Assured Roofing and Construction, their hard work is based off honesty, loyalty, and integrity, ensuring that every customer gets what they deserve and is happy and stress-free throughout the entire process. When any storm damage occurs to your roof, gutters, fencing, or siding, Assured will have you covered and help you from the initial free inspection to filing your claim, meeting with adjusters, and getting your damaged property fixed properly. Give AJ a call at 940-782-1194. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, and I'll backdoor that. So you talked about you scrambling. Did your district change at all, or it was just your other games change?
Yeah, so we've been south for the past several years, and that's where we were kind of expecting to be. Mm-hmm. And then next thing you know, I had Henrietta scheduled week 5, so we end up in that district up here in the north, and I think it's going to be a tough district. I think top to bottom, there's some good football teams. I think think everybody's going to be good. I don't think there's going to be many nights off, and we're going to have to play good football, which that's what we expect. But it's going to be a tougher district, I believe, than what we were in.
I think so too. A lot of we've been covering City View and Holiday and briefly Jacksboro, but yeah, I mean that's a tough district right there, and I mean whoever comes out of that district is going to be prime for a playoff run, I'm sure.
Battered and bruised Friday nights in that district for sure.
Yep.
Yeah. So one thing that I've been asking each of the coaches is I asked the tradition thing, but can you explain to us like a game day? So Friday, from start to finish for Coach Hubble, and what's that like?
Yeah, so at 6:30, we do something called Quarterback Club, where I meet up with several men in our community that are very interested in Tiger football, and we'll eat breakfast and drink some coffee, and I will go through the previous night's game or the previous week's game. Usually I'll make some cut-ups. I'll show highlights and what we did well and what we didn't do well, and show as much of that game as I can. Answer any questions, and then when I'm done with that, then I'll give them kind of a scouting report on our opponent for that night. I'll show them cut-ups of what they do offensively, what they do defensively, what our game plan kind of is, how we plan on attacking. Just so those guys that want to can have some insight as to game plan, and I believe that I want our football team to be an extension of our community. I don't want it to be this is my football team, y'all just stay out and watch. I think the more people that are invested, the better it's our team out there. And if we're doing good, it's us and it's the kids. If we're struggling, it's not those kids or those coaches. That's our team. So really tried to bring people in that way. When that's done, head back to the office. Friday for me is pretty laid back. Most of the work's done. We work really hard Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So Friday, it's time to let the kids play. There will be some, getting things in line, making sure things are right, going over, watching as much more video as I can, going through special teams, special situations, trying to see if I missed anything. But I hate Friday before game days. I actually like being on the road because it breaks up the day more. And then, we'll have a pep rally at some point, and I'll go over there and just kind of stand and watch.
They don't put you on the mic up there?
Yeah, every once in a while. But I'm not too good at working crowds into frenzies. I'd rather talk to football players, I think.
Yeah.
But, then we usually try to, if we're on the road or at our place, if we're on the road, for example, we'll leave fairly early. We'll try to pick a church in the town we're playing in, and I'll call around and try to find us a place that'll host us in their activity center or a gym, and we'll take our overhead projector and we'll do our team meetings there. So we'll go over not scouting report, but game plan, make sure everything's in line, make sure everybody knows exactly what we're doing, go over first 10 plays of the game that we've scripted, just make sure everybody's on the same page. Then we'll have a pregame meal, and then we'll start taping and doing all that stuff there, whether it's in our field house or at that church. Try to eat, 3.5 hours before the game to make sure they have enough nutrition to sustain them through that game. And just get yourself ready to go. Get that slow boil going.
There you go.
All right, so one question that I want to ask, going back to your district schedule, because to me, I feel like games like this, it takes a special coach to be willing to make the games happen. I noticed on your schedule that You didn't dodge. You didn't run away from it. I'm assuming that it's a tradition that you guys do that on the last home game. I see that you have holiday as your senior night. There's coaches that would run away from that. Just they don't want two competitive games on senior night, like you're saying. I've seen coaches want an easy win for senior night, different things like that. But I noticed that you guys have put basically an overtime win game from the previous year as your senior night. Just thinking ahead, what do you think, if you could predict, what would you think the atmosphere would be like for this game, leading up to this game, possibly district titles on the line for this game? What would you think the atmosphere would be like, and how did you gain the courage to do something like that? Because I've seen coaches run away from that.
Yeah, I'm trying to get ready for the first day of two-a-days right now. I'm not spending much time thinking about that. The district seeding we all drew, so Holiday and Jacksboro, that game was just by chance that it was set up. I really didn't even think about it too much. Senior night's always been our last home game, so I'm not going to shy away from it. And as far as it, possibly being a big game, any game, we're never going to put that much emphasis on any opponent we play, because I never want to make it about them.
About the opponent.
We're going to make it about us. And, that if, we're blessed enough that it is a district championship on the line, I don't have to talk about that. Those kids know that. You don't have to put extra pressure on them. We just want to stay focused on one play at a time and taking care of business. And senior night is last game of the year. I'm not gonna change it around just because of who we're playing.
Yes, sir.
Always want to make it about us. We want to celebrate that way. We want to, if something great happens, we never want to go celebrate in front of somebody else. We want to make it about us and celebrate with our brothers.
Refresh your ride during the Thrill of Summer sales event at Nissan of Wichita Falls. Come see our great lineup of new Nissans, including the all-new Nissan Rogue and the new 2024 Nissan Frontier. Nissan of Wichita Falls has a huge selection of pre-owned vehicles and a service staff of certified Nissan technicians, backed by the best parts department in Texoma. We're locally owned and operated with a sales team you can trust at Nissan of Wichita Falls.
So one more thing, I meant to ask this, and I think we kind of overlooked this. What's your philosophy? Are you more of an offensive or a defensive coach?
Yeah, I've spent most of my career on the defensive side of the ball. I have coached offense quite a bit the past 6-7 years. Since I've been a head coach, I've spent more time on the offensive side, called the offense one year, but I don't know. I've spent more time defensively, but I'm just a football coach. I love every.
You don't enjoy one more than the other?
There are different things about each side of the ball that I enjoy more. Defensively, I really love the drills and the developing the progression to allow you to be able to execute at a high level. Offensively, for offensive line, I think it's the exact same way. When I coached quarterbacks, I hated the day-to-day drills. It got boring to me. But I like the team settings more offensively, whenever you're executing, whether it be a pass hole or a run hole or whatever it may be. I like the team aspect of it more, or running of the plays more. Defensively, to me, was more about developing the tools needed to execute. But love them both.
Yeah. Sorry. Real quick. I still got a couple more questions. Yeah. A twofold question, I guess, as O usually brings up. But when you talk about two things. When you look at your schedule, is there a game on your schedule this year that you, as Coach Hubble, either from previous experiences or this or that, which game do you have circled this year? And then also, who would you consider to be your rival? And is there I'm not sure. I guess I don't know, Henrietta, Holiday. I don't know who your rival is. So would you just let us know who you think that is and who you got circled this year?
Yeah, I don't have any games circled. We can only play the one that we got that week. So
True.
I'm not going to fall into that trap of last year the Comanche game was really big for us. We didn't have to circle it. We didn't have to put any more extra emphasis on it. It just was. Everybody knows. You don't have to try to convince people that if we're both undefeated, Holiday is going to be a big game, or if City View's, sitting there undefeated, we don't have to do that. So the way I look at it is for us to be the best team we can be when we get to that point, we better spend, every bit of energy on whatever our opponent is at that point. And really not even our opponent, but us. We're going to try to make sure that we're doing what we need to be doing. Their scheme, we're always going to try to attack what we think is a weakness on a team. But we spend a lot of time just focused on what we're doing. And that's my philosophy. Don't get too worried about everybody else because I don't get to
one day at a time, one game at a time.
I don't get to decide what they're doing. So I can only be in charge of us.
And who's the Jacksboro Tigers rivalry?
Yeah, I don't know. I when I was a kid growing up, and playing there, when I grew up, it was Bowie. Hearing that from my parents and, like from the 80s, Jacksboro and Bowie were huge rivals. Well, about the time I was in school, Bowie moved up to 3A and we were still 2A. So, they were worried about Decatur and Vernon and all those people. They didn't care about us. Mm-hmm. I don't know who our rival. I don't know that we have one. I hope everybody hates us.
Do you think one might be forming?
Well, it's possible. It's possible.
I think
I think we've had some good run-ins, Jacksboro Holiday throughout the years. When I was a junior, we tied with them at Memorial Stadium, and they ended up advancing on penetrations, I think. So, there's been some good games throughout the years. But,
you said penetration. That's old school right there.
I'm not a young guy.
I ain't heard.
So I know O has at least one more question.
Yeah, for sure. I think with the rivalry too is where Jacksboro's located. They kind of just sit out there by themselves, so it's nothing really. They don't have really just a bunch of schools around them that you kind of build that rivalry. They're in their own club, and I like what Coach says that they focus on themselves and what they can control versus worrying about what the next man got going on, which is a good philosophy to have with your kids. But my last question would be it's kind of twofold, as I always say. So two things is the first thing would be what's your favorite pregame meal for yourself?
For me. Probably a chicken sandwich and a baked potato.
Right. Okay, chicken sandwich, baked potato, and then I noticed you said that you guys like to leave a little early with the kids and do different things and feed them. What's a go-to meal that you like to feed the kids before a game?
Yeah, so it's the same, or we'll go some type of pasta and bread. Our cafeteria does a great job taking care of us, but usually some type of pasta, breadsticks, salad, fruit, and that or a chicken sandwich and a baked potato. Okay. They get to eat what I got to like. Now, when I was in school, our head coach, we ate dude sandwiches from Dairy Queen. No matter
we had one
went,
coach on here said he makes sandwiches for him before the game.
That's good.
One more question that I got, and it's we've been touching on Jacksboro and Holiday, and what I anticipate probably is an upcoming rivalry, and hopefully after realignment, you guys, for the sake of me and watching great football, you guys stay pretty close. But going back to that game, I was on the sideline with my camera, and it was probably the best game I've ever been to. I know you were, probably thinking the same thing. I know we talked to Coach Atwood, and he agrees. What was going through your mind when y'all were down? And I forgot the kid's name, but he got that little hitch, ran up for a touchdown. And then, anyways, we talk about how tough it is kicking a PAT versus going for 2. Is that something that Coach Hubble does? Is that his mindset? Like, we're just going to put it away? Or was that something that you and your coaches agreed upon if you guys did get to the end zone? Just run us through that last, minute or so of that game for us.
So I've been in that situation many times where you're at a point in the game where time and the differential is not in your favor. And I think it's how we want to develop the mentality at Jacksboro of, I call it playing the game fearless. And it's something we talk about all off season, which is to play the game without fear. And I don't mean that in a hokey way or where I ain't scared of nothing. It's really a belief that no matter what happens, we can win this game. I've worked. I've showed up at 6:30 in the morning. I've lifted. I've not cut reps. I've done everything my coaches have asked me to do. So all I can do is just play. I know the guy I'm lined up next to has done the same thing. Whenever you don't do those things, you can't play the game without fear because you know, and kids know. So, when you're in that situation, you just have to convince kids, and you have to stay focused on, we got to play the next play, got to play the next play. And when your kids have bought in, sometimes it works out to where they make plays. And that's kind of how it happened. Tyler T. Mitch took that hitch. He was surrounded. Still don't know how he got out of it. But the next thing you know, he's squirting down the sideline. Because of the point differential, we needed to go for 2 right there. Coach Sams did a great job calling a play. We got it in, executed. Now here we go overtime. They had, 25, 30 seconds left where we had to stop anything and go into overtime. I was fortunate enough to win the toss. So, you take the ball second, so you know what you have to do if the other team scores. And Cox kid was unbelievable. And, they scored in about 2 plays. So at that point, as soon as they score that fast, at that point's when I decided, if we score, we're going for 2. We're going to end this thing one way or the other. And, I've been in games like that before where, I did it, called the same play, didn't execute, and lose the game. Been in that game several times in that situation. When I was at Canton, Van was really, really good. And, we kicked a 38-yard field goal to beat them, and, hits the crossbar and don't go in. So you just got to have the courage and in your kids and the belief in what you're doing. And once you make a decision, that's it. We're going with it. Our kids wanted to do it. I think once we made that decision, they were all in. They had us dead to rights on 4th down. Lando makes an unbelievable play, spins out of a dead to rights sack and heaves it up into the back of the end zone, and Casey Swan comes down with it.
Tiptoe.
Yeah, it was, probably the craziest play of our season, that play. And then a play we'd worked, all year long for the 2-point conversion. We decided that was the one we wanted to go with, and Lando put the ball on the money, line protected. Casey made the catch. Works out sometimes. It's fun when it does.
Yeah. We Coach Atwood. I keep saying Coach Atwood, but he said it would have been a lot better had he been on the other side.
A lot of respect for those guys. He's doing a great job over there. We've talked quite a bit, and I've been in that game and lost it, and and it's fortunate when you're on the winning side. But either way, it doesn't diminish what that game was. Both sides packed. One of the last games in the area, and then I would have liked us to play a little better defense, maybe, but what a great atmosphere! It's great for our community.
This will be my last question. It's kind of what we talked about before we got on the air. But one, how does it feel to come back home and be a Jacksboro Tiger? I mean, like you said, you grew up there. Now your kids are going to school there, walking the same halls, I assume, and then the next part is, as we talked about, like I said, is the tornado that happened. And you said you were just had got there a month on the job. Talk about how it impacted you, but also the city of Jacksboro as well.
Yeah, it's been great being home. You know, my parents still live there. Several people that I grew up with are around, you know, not as many as you would think. But it's been great. You know, the administration is unbelievable. You know, Jacksboro is a great community where I wouldn't say athletics is important. I would say kids are important. Now, it doesn't matter what extracurricular activity is going on, from ag, FCCLA just went to nationals in Seattle. Our ag guys, FFA does an unbelievable job. Whatever kids are into, that administration and that community supports really, really well. They make it easy to do our job. It's been good, you know, seeing people that you knew growing up and getting to be a part of a community and watching football come back to, you know, playing some really good football and watching people get excited. It's been good. The same thing happened when we had the tornado. You know, I'd never seen anything like that before as far as the devastation. But watching our community show up, you know, people on skid steers and trailers and just cleaning up the town and watching people rally around each other. And, yeah, it was good. You know, it's horrible what happened, but I think it made our community stronger. Made it harder for me to buy a house because, you know, not even a lot of people didn't have houses, so the prices went up a little higher than I wanted to pay. But yeah, it was pretty special to watch a community rally around each other, and then you know, we were all ready to get back to normal. I think we're going to have a gym this year.
Yeah.
Okay, it's finished.
Yeah, we saw that.
So that's exciting. It's been really hard on our court sports because you know, had 2 gyms, and you know, one at the old high school, which is a junior high, and one, you know, they're the auxiliary gym. So pretty hard on us in the court sports, but we're excited about what's going on.
And do you
Very
think
good.
that, like I said, what you guys went through, do you think that culminated into you guys this season this past year?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if it did or not. It didn't. You know, anytime a community pulls together, I think it's good. So I like to think we could have done it without a tornado. So, but yeah, I think our town's strong. I think our people love each other. I think it's a great place to be.
Well, I hate that we have to end this. It says that. Hold on, sorry. Ended, but
It says full.
yeah.
I talk too much.
Oh, you
No.
were great.
No, yeah, you did great. I appreciate you coming out.
Yeah.
We, man, we're big fans. We love
Awesome.
what you're doing over there, and excited and good luck this season.
Thank you.